Is a strike imminent tonight, and what would the longer-term implications be? Let's bring in retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North and the host of War Stories, and New York Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Gentlemen, great to have both of you with us tonight.
Great to be with you.
So as we know, the president is in conversations domestically here and also with our potential allies. Let's talk about the fact that in the region there are a lot of folks who think that we need Arab partners in this. Luke Coffey, who's the director of the Allison Center for Foreign Policy at Heritage, says this: I think it would be worth the diplomatic legwork that it would require. It would send a very strong message if Arab countries participated. Congressman, what are the odds?
It's essential. It's so important for us to be able to see some of these countries that are actually quite wealthy, whether it's Saudi Arabia or UAE or the Qataris. Jordan has been involved in a way with what's been going on in Syria to a certain extent. Israel has been involved, but as far as some of these other Arab countries that exist in the region, I think it's imperative. They're all concerned about Iranian aggression. Well, this is the moment to push back. If you don't push back right now, it's only going to get worse.
Colonel, if you were overseeing or suggesting potential options to the administration, military in nature, what would you suggest?
Well, first of all, you have to get enough assets in the region, and we're not there yet. I remember 32 years ago tonight, I was sitting in a planning cell picking targets in a place called Libya, because on the 5th of April, Muammar Gaddafi had detonated a bomb, and one of his agents had detonated a bomb at a discotheque in West Germany. And it took 10 days to get the assets in place, to make all the arrangements. If you're going to use more than just a handful of aircraft, you're going to have to have places to recover them. You're going to have places refuel and rearm. You have to have search and rescue assets in place. And so I think there were a lot of people thinking maybe it was going to happen tonight, and I couldn't imagine it.
It takes time
to
get everything in place. How important is Turkey in this as well?
Well, Turkey is very important because Turkey has closed Incirlik Air Base, which is a NATO air base. Erdogan is not a friend. And Erdogan doesn't particularly care for the Assad regime, but on the other hand, obviously he doesn't care much for us because he's not been helping us much at all. At the end of the day, you're going to have Incirlik as a recovery base because you're not going to be able to land aircraft except in extremis in places like Jordan and Israel. Israel could be very helpful in terms of search and rescue, and it takes time to place those assets in position so that they'd be there to recover downed air crews.
And back over on Capitol Hill, there's been some discussion. We talked about last night, Senator Mike Lee over on the Senate side saying if there's going to be a robust military response, that the president needs to come to Congress for that. In the meantime, you also have Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal today talking about what kind of assets we need to have, what kind of reaction we need to have, and who needs to be held responsible. Here's what he says.
There has to be robust reaction in action, not just words or rhetoric. The response has to have a military component against Bashar al-Assad, but it also has to send a message to his enablers.
Okay, so a military response to Assad, but also it has to send a message to his enablers. The president's called out Putin by name. He's called out Iran as well. So where do we go with that?
Well, so we have all these different countries, different approaches with each. Now, within Syria, where you could be targeting command and control, which could be infrastructure, it could be personnel. It may not just be Syrian, it may also be Iranian. There might be ways to deliver the chemical weapon. Maybe it's part of their air force, or it's part of their infrastructure of how they are able to carry out the chemical attack. But with Iran, we have a whole other debate going on, the future of the Iran nuclear deal, the effort to ramp up sanctions, which is that's what brought the Iranians to the table in the first place when you saw the negotiation and deal take place during President Obama's term. Same thing with Russia, where we're talking about sanctions and what leverage we have. There's a debate at the UN Security Council. So that will continue, and Ambassador Haley countering the narrative that the Russians and others are trying to put out. So all of that needs to take place as well. I expect what we saw a year ago to take place again. I do expect there to be a strike, but I don't think it's just going to be that. And last time where it was just us, now we're seeing Britain and the French. So I think there's going to be more of a coalition. I think it's going to be us utilizing multiple leverages of the DIME principle, diplomacy, information, military, economics. And I look forward to it being quite effective.
And quickly, Colonel, any guess on a timeline?
I'd say it's probably a little bit more than 72 hours. I really don't know, but I know where certain assets are, and they're moving in the right direction. But again, it took Ronald Reagan 10 days. I mean, he made the decision on the 7th of April. The actual attack went on tax day. I'd look around for tax day or later.
Okay. Gentlemen, great to see both of you
Great
tonight.
to see
Thank
you.
you.